alright. So, as you know, in 2025 the topics of the theory of computation is similar to the previous years, as you are already aware that. So, regular languages we have finite automata, context free languages, push down automata we have. Then there is a new topic like pumping lemma for the regular language also there, and pumping lemma for the context free language also there. So, these are the topics we have, and even Turing machines also not mentioned in the title, but undecidability and recursive languages, recursive learnable languages has been given us. So, that is the titles we have, and every year we are all seeing that minimum of the 7 to 8 marks are coming. What kind of topics you need to be focused for the examination? That is a major point. See, in theory of computation, fundamentals are very important. You have to be good at understanding of the fundamentals. You have to good at understanding of the basic terminology. So, in the language related operations, we should not forget the fundamentals first of all. Remember, in the theory of computation, whenever it's a x power 0 or it's a w power 0, for all of them we are all just using the epsilon is the representation, right? And you should not take it as like a mathematical concept like a 1. So, that is a one fundamental point every one of you should notice. After that, w power r is something different, and say for example, I got here my w is equal to 0, 1, 1, my w power r is representing about the reverse of it. So, that means 1, 1, 0 here. So, reverse operation, some books will write as a lowercase r, some books will write here capital R. So, both are same here. So, when you write w followed by w power r, indirectly what you are doing means you are just doing the concatenation of both of them here. So, my w you should write 0, 1, 1 here, followed by w power r you need to write. So, that is about the 1, 1, 0. So, this is what representing means. This is the new string concatenated the two parts. One is about the w that is connected with the w power r. So, our point of view, we have done the concatenation of the two things, like a w is used to concatenate with the w power r here. But obviously, this will frame a palindrome. This will frame a palindrome. And you remember, this is saying what here WW. WW is here, write at 0, 1, 1 and also 0, 1, 1. Remember, the basic difference between these two, we are just copying the word whatever I have next level also. But here you are just concatenating whatever W I have, that is concatenated with the reverse of that W here. So, that is why this is the WW. WW is there and W power R is there. So, these are the basic points every one of you should remember, and sometimes they may be also tell you here W, W, W. So, these all three W's are saying here, right, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, likewise you need to concatenate. Remember, while you are doing the concatenations, we never have any kind of spaces between them, no space. Whatever number of strings you are doing here, the concatenation no matter, but no space would be provided. Even someone is given me in a paper like there is a space, that is a wrong question. Say for example, W power R is equal to here, it is not the W power R. You cannot write here 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, it should not be like this. So, if there is something in the question paper like this, you please ignore, there is a space has to be ignored, and you need to consider them as a 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. This is what exactly the combination. So, that is the fundamental points every one of you should notice. If there is a string like a 0, 1, 1, 1, as I mentioned, you can guess the epsilon any place. As I mentioned, epsilon can be here 0, epsilon 1 1, epsilon epsilon 1, these all are possible, or else 0 1 1, epsilon 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 1, epsilon epsilon, whatever number of epsilons you have here, there is no matter, but ultimately every string is going to be surrounded by some kind of epsilons here. And also you should not get confusion here. So whenever you kept like this, automatically is asking for not the string, is asking for the length. What is the length? So length of this one is equal to 4. So then ultimately you will have a 4 here. Most of the times they express for all of us W and W length. W and W length. So that part you have to understand, and you also remember length of the epsilon is always 0. Length of the epsilon is 0. So these are the basic points every one of you should notice. After that, I am also telling about the language part. Sometimes in a languages, sir, should I put epsilon is a member, or should I start my language without epsilon? Whether should I consider the epsilon into the language or not to consider into the language is always subjected to the statement of the language. Say for example, you mentioned all the strings are defined over the alphabet 0 comma 1 whole star. If I put like this, if I mention my W is belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star, you suppose is given like this. Whenever you mention this W belongs to the 0 comma 1 whole star, definitely epsilon is a member. Epsilon can be the member when, if condition is satisfied, if the condition of a language is satisfied. Otherwise, it does not mean that I have to take always epsilon because W belongs to the 0 comma 1 whole star. For example, I say I written the language L is equal to W such that my W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star, right, and my length of the W is equal to just 2. Look at this. What you have to understand, I have to write all the strings W, but every string I have to select from the 0 comma 1 whole star. That means in this set what is possible, epsilon is also there here, epsilon also there here, 0 is there here, 1 is there here, 2, right, 1 is there here, 0 0 0 1 1 0, like that all of them are there here. But according to the, this is the one condition, and W is equal to 2, W length. So according to this statement, what will be there here? Only 0 0 will be there, 0 1 will be there, 1 0 will be there, 1 1 will be there. So this statement or this language, although there is a 0 comma 1 whole star, epsilon is a member, I cannot put in the language epsilon here, because my language completely says that I need only the length 2 strings. In a length 2 strings, epsilon will never satisfy that condition. Epsilon ka length nahi hai, its length is not equivalent to 2, its length is equivalent to 0. That is why although there is a epsilon in that language according to this statement, but I do not consider in the member. So that is why depends on the problem statement only, you have to think, sir, can I take epsilon, can I take epsilon or not. Say for example, same thing I just go to the another way of telling. I got my L is equal to say W belongs to such that, or you know, W such that my W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star, right, and length of the W is less than or equivalent to 2. Now you see, whenever he mentioned here, yeah, this is equal to, yeah, this is 0 comma 1 whole star. If we mention like this, definitely he mentioned it's a 0 comma 1 whole star, then definitely my epsilon is a member here, 0 is a member here, 1 is a member here. After that, I wanted to go to the all possible combinations up to length 2. So, length 1 is this, length 2 are 4, right? I have to go to up to this part. This is my L value. Now, you see the difference? Both are giving here same kind of thing, but according to this condition, I cannot add the epsilon, but according to this condition, I need to add the epsilon. Similar manner, L is equal to suppose W such that W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole plus he mentioned. Whole plus is mentioned, and length of the W is equal to just 2 you mentioned, or less than or equivalent to 2. As W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole plus, we cannot take epsilon, right? So, first member is a 0, second member is a 1, after that 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So, that is what the L here, that is what the L here. So, now the guys, you have to understand, sir, whether I wanted to include epsilon, whether I do not want to include the epsilon is always subject to what is the W ka condition, whether it is given like this, whether it is given like this. Suppose if it is not given like this, same thing you put this way, set of all strings over 0 1. So, this entire thing one they will say as set of all strings over 0 1. Whenever you mention set of all strings, you guess by default this is the only reference for you, not this, right? So, whenever you say that set of all strings over 0 1, so then your benchmark is very simple, then I need to consider from the 0 plus 1 whole star say. Suppose in the set of all strings over 0 1, in bracket you mentioned non-zero members. So, definitely you will give the more clarity about the language statements, whether I wanted to get the epsilon answer, whether I not to want to get the epsilon answer. Lot of people have been asking me that whether should I include the epsilon, not to include the epsilon, you have been asking me like that. So, in a problem statement, if set of all strings over 0 1 is there, include the epsilon. Set of all strings over 0 1 except epsilon, then you do not consider epsilon, or accept non-zero value, then do not consider the non-zero value. So, likewise you have to work on the smart way. Okay. So, whenever it is a 0 plus 1 whole star, definitely epsilon is a member, if the whole plus epsilon is not a member here. Whenever you mention in a statement like a set of all strings over 0 1, definitely it is a member in this. And other thing I want to tell you in a language is epsilon, if you consider one particular language, this one can be the member in multiple language statements. First member, multiple language members. What are the multiple language means? What here? Even number of zeros and even number of ones. Set of all strings over 0 1 contains the even number of zeros and even number of ones. If that is the question to you, then definitely I need to include the first of all epsilon also member. You should not forget it. Why means you know that there are 0 number of zeros and 0 number of ones here. So, that is why in the language like even zeros and even ones, epsilon is the first member. Only even number of zeros. After that, what happened here? 0 0 is a member. 0 0 is a member, 1 1 is a member. Why all these are members? So zeros are 2, ones are zeros. So that means 0 number of ones. So that is also even a combination. Even 1 1 you take, why 2 ones are there but zeros are absent. Absent of the zeros are nothing but there are 0 number of zeros over here. So that is why this is also member, and also 4 zeros member, or 0 1 0 1 member, 1 0 1 0 member, and so on. We will getting about this one here. So you must have a this kind of clarity, right? Even number of zeros and even number of ones means this is the one. Fine. Similar manner, same language may I tell you sometimes uh, instead of the even, let's consider equal number of zeros and ones. Equal number of zeros and equal number of ones. In that also epsilon is the first member. Epsilon is the first member. 0 1 is the member, 1 0 is the member, 1 1 1 1 1 0 1 0 is a member. This is about equal numbers. This is about equal numbers. And also what here, set of all strings whose length is divisible by 3, right? They may mention W such that W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star, and length of the W is divisible by 3, okay, if they mention like this. Whenever they mention it is 0 comma 1 whole star and the length of that thing is divisible by 3. So ultimately in the W is going to be like epsilon is the first member. Here also epsilon comes. Why? What is the length of the epsilon? 0, right? Length of the epsilon is a 0. Is it the 0 divisible by 3? Yes. So that is why epsilon is a member. So now I given you about the 3 kinds of languages here, right? This is about even and even and even zeros and even ones, even zeros and even ones. And I am coming to this part here. This is about the number of zeros in a W is equal to number of ones in a W, equal number of ones and equal number of zeros. And W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star divisible by 3. So here also you have a epsilon here. So there are lot of problems where always a epsilon will come into the right in the language as a first member for many of the languages. So that is why you do not expect the same string should not appear for the right multiple languages. The same string may be present in the multiple languages, that is always true, because only thing we will consider here always whether a given state condition of a language has been satisfied by the string is not is the matter for us. What it has to do? It has to do only one job, whether the statement of a problem has been satisfied by that one or not. So I am just telling you that here epsilon is also member in the even zeros and even ones, epsilon also member in the only even zeros or only even ones, or else epsilon also can be the member in the equal number of zeros and equal number of ones, and also length epsilon is also member in the length of the string is divisible by 3 or length of the string is divisible by 4, because epsilon length is equivalent of 0. So that is why guys you never be get confused about epsilon. Sir, whether I am getting the epsilon, whether I am not getting the epsilon, how I come to know means I just given you all the hints. no confusion. Once you have a clarity about them, then we can know easily attempt any sort of questionnaire here. So, other pointer I just wanted to go here. After understanding of this, then in a language we are talking about the clean closure operations. Clean closure. So, in a clean closure, what happening here? There is a language with us 0 1 and 1 0 they are given. So, clean closure is saying what, this is represented by the L star, denotes what here, 0 or more, 0 or more concatenations of L here, concatenations of L, that is about the L star. L plus में क्या है? So, this is also denotes same as like previous one, but this is representing about the one or more concatenations of the L here. Right. So, that is the difference. Although I got a L is equal to 0 comma 1, my L power 0 will always have a epsilon. My L power 1 will have here the same language. You no need to write here 1. So, 0 1 and 1 0. I am just telling about the 2 points here. Although L has got something, L has got that something like a 0 1 is there, 1 0 is there, but you are just taking care about the L power 0. So, this L power 0 is by default epsilon. That is the one point you have to understand. L power 1 is nothing but a L. I don't need to write 1 on explicitly. Similar way, you have to understand L square. L square is the L and L here. L square is L and L here. So, this is concatenated the 2 times. So, that means suppose I take a one more time L, that is about the 0 1 and 1 0. What do you do here? I just doing the concatenation of this one and this one, and this one with this one with this, and this one with this. So, ultimately what will come here? 0 1 will come, 0 1 will come, 0 1 and 1 0 will be coming over here. After that 1 0 1 0 will be there here, followed by 1 0 1 0 will be there here, 1 0 and 0 1 will be there here. Okay. So, what is the point here? 1 0 0 1 will be also there here. Fine. So, L1, L square, L cube, likewise you will be having. Most of the times the questions would be like this here. This is the question generally you can expect as a MSA. So, they do the concatenations of them, like they may be mentioned about the 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 1, or else 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 0, something like that they are given. They may be ask you about the what strings are there in the L star. What kind of question it is means what kind of strings I can expect in the L star. It is very simple. Whatever strings I can frame using them, definitely it is a member, otherwise it is not a member here. Whatever you are framing. So, this is I can frame from the L values. Is it a member? Yeah, member. Can I have a 1 0? But 1 1 is not there. This you cannot frame. This you cannot frame. This you cannot frame. Suppose I given you 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1. Suppose I given here. So, definitely this will I can frame it. How can you frame it? So, you can frame here. This is going to be 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 1. I can frame it. So, this is the one model you can expect in the examination, right? Mostly they can ask you. Be very confident about this matter, and people are getting the confusion about the substrings. Never be get confused about the substrings here. I am just telling you the substring story. Okay. Say for example, there is a W with the TOC. Should I include the epsilon in a substring or not? That is the most of the people are getting the confusion on the substring. For example, there is a W is equal to TOC. What are the substrings? If we not mentioned in the examination like a non-empty, please list non-empty substrings. If you mention this word, then you have to exclude your epsilon. Suppose is not mentioned non-empty or non-zero. If this terminology is not used in the exam paper, then you don't get confused here. My first member is a epsilon, is a substring. Alright. T is a substring, O is a substring, C is a substring, T is a substring, O is a substring, C is a substring, and also later TO is a substring, OC is a substring, and TOC also substring. Alright. So, whether this one should be added or not to be added, the point I am discussing here, whether I want it to be added or not to added here. What is the point to be added here? Means if in a question non-empty means you will not add it. If this is not there, definitely you will add it. Definitely you will add it. So that's why, and another point you have to understand, you should not write like a power set, all combinations I supposed to write here. But substring is always a continuous symbols, right? TO and OC. So substrings are always obtained with the continuous symbols. It will come here with the continuous symbols. It will not come out here like anything. So TC I cannot take. Here one question they are giving, there is a string W, right, whose length is equal to n, whose length is equal to n, and W is containing the different kinds of symbols. W contains different kinds of symbols. Then how many substrings I can have it? Then answer is equal to, in a question, this is the non-empty. How many substrings are possible with right with non-empty? So if that is a non-empty, then it is going to n into n plus 1 by 2. This is the fixed answer. But guys, remember to fix this answer, your question should be very clear. What is my question? You should given me about in a bracket like a non-empty strings you wanted to have, right? Non-empty strings you must have here. Second thing is here about W is containing the different symbols, like W has got a TOC only. W is containing the different kinds of symbols, then only this answer is correct. Suppose a W has got a same members like this, W has the same members, but whose length is what? 3. What are the substrings? A is a substring, AA is a substring, AAA is a substring, AAA is substring, guys. So, A is a substring, AA is substring, AAA is a substring. For all these, we never be taking care about this kind of answer. This is going to give you about the just like a n. This is going to give you just like a n here. So that's why my suggestion to you, these kind of questions will never be having about the one fixed answer. One fixed answer you will never get. So that is why see the question and understand the question, what is asking, whether W has got the same symbols, whether W has got a different symbols. If W got a different symbols, then you will get a this answer. If W has a same symbols, then you will get a this answer. So that is the point you have to remember, guys. So that's why never be get confused about this part. Why this answer should be there in a examination? Definitely they mentioned whether you wanted to take a empty or non-empty. Suppose he mentioned that inclusive empty. Inclusive empty means you go to the plus 1, and empty means, yeah, you know, this will give you n. Now it is going to give you n plus 1. Inclusive empty string means is a n plus 1. If it is not inclusive empty string, then it is not going to be like a n into n plus 1 by 2 here. So you can have this part or else this part, fine. Later, so that is the basic points you guys supposed to be remember as far as the fundamentals are concerned. So there is no confusion on this point, right? So there is no confusion on this point. So I am just trying to avoid you the all your misconceptions or confusions, whatever you have been facing here. So once this is done, later next question you can expect here, the questions on the finite automata and regular expressions. Let us see the first title of this. In a finite automata, they are always telling about DFA part. In the beginning, I already discussed about the kind of questions you can expect on this. They mentioned about DFA. They give you the some sort of DFA for us. They mention like this: 0, they give you 1, they give you 0 or 1 here, and they are asking you about the what is the language accepted by this one here. So while they are giving the languages, they give you most of the times like 4 choices they will give you, right? Right now, ending with 0, or else contain the substring 0, contains substring 0, substring 0, or else C beginning with 0, or else they may be saying that something will be there like this. Why I am just telling you, guys, once again, most of us we do this answering different approaches. What are the approaches? Usually they followed ending with 0 0. So randomly taking the one string from this language, after that applying to this one, then ensuring that okay, it is accepting, so therefore this is the answer. After that, containing the substring, from here also guessing the 1 or 2 strings, then applying to the machine, then it is accepting, right? Then option C also you will do the same job, but that is not the right thing. Please understand, if there is a DFA, only one right answer will be there here, right? The first thing you have to understand, these kind of questions, one DFA, DFA to language is DFA to language is 1-to-1 mapping, 1-to-1 mapping it is. For one language, sorry, for one DFA, one language. Unless all languages have got the same meaning, unless the language has got the same meaning, DFA, one DFA cannot have the multiple answers. So my suggestion to all of you, are never look into the options. So while you are answering these kind of questions, you never look into the options, you just look into the diagram. What is the smallest string? Right. What is the next smallest string? Next smallest one is the 0 0. Next smallest one is 0 1. Next smallest one is 1 0. 1 1 will never be there. Then triple 0. Likewise, you write here. Write only smallest string. Then you just complete this. So this is the DFA. This is the language I got it. Now your job is take the each option. Also do the same job. Ending with 0. This is the one thing. After that, it's going to be 0 0. It's going to be like a 1 0. I cannot put a 0 1 here. This is not there. This is there here. Now, likewise, you just list out the members of a language right from the very first string to at least 2 to 3 samples you write. Right? You write the 2 or 3 samples. Now you check which set in the given options, will match with this, right? That is the one thing you have to understand always. You cannot go just like that. So you have to do this way here, right? So I am just telling you this is very, very critical, and we are expecting this one question on this time. I also giving you the kind suggestion to all of you. Never be looking into to answer this kind of question by guessing the random strings. That's the biggest mistake we are doing all the times. Instead of that, do this way. Take the automata, write the language members. After that, come to the options, and you come to the options. For each option also, you list out the members of a language. Then you just draw the conclusion. Whatever will match with this set is the correct answer. So that's the one point every one of you remember. And remember, whenever there is a DFA to language condition, definitely this is a one-to-one mapping. But even a language can have any number of NFAs. NFAs can be multiples. But a DFA for all the languages are going to be always like it's a unique. According to the Myhill-Neredes theorem, for each and every language, you can find here there is a unique DFA for us. Okay, so that you remember. So here the people are getting the confusion. I am just telling you about this is the only way to answer. There is no other shortcut. So follow this trick here, whatever I provided. Later, coming to the point in the finite automata, after the language recognition, next one I said that array you work on the minimum state DFA. Okay, minimum state DFA. In this area, what kind of questions? I understood most of the times you will give the one regular expression like no, it's a 0 plus 1 whole star into 0 0, right? Find the minimum state DFA for it. They may be ask you, right? Find minimum state DFA. So they may be asking you like this. Sometimes they give the regular expression, sometimes they give the language, or a W is equal to W such that W belongs to, if you see the 2017 question on this area, just they are giving me this way, W such that W belongs to 0 comma 1 whole star, okay, and they mentioned about the something called W, and W contains W contains 0, 0, 0 as a substring. They mention like this. So, there are two formats most frequently they can ask you on this numerical answer. So, this is most of the time the question would be on the NAT type. What is the NAT? Numerical answer type questions only you can expect here. So, in this NAT category, the category of the questions can be what? Either this format of question. So, they may be asking about either this model or else they may be ask you this model. But this is the model you can anticipate. You are giving the regular expression and then asking for the automata. Then what is the procedure to this? Procedure to this is very simple. Draw the NFA. This NFA you convert into DFA. This DFA you need to convert into minimum state to DFA. Yeah. So, if there is an expression means definitely sometimes you may be getting to this. Direct DFA will come. Direct DFA will come. But while you are answering these kind of questions, there is no meaning here following the rules or following the procedure to build the DFA as it is whatever you have in the expression. Expression you need to be analyzed sometimes. Say for example, I got here my R is equal to 0 plus 1 whole star into 0 into 0 plus 1 whole star. Given like this, suppose. Or else it is a 0 plus 1 here. You mentioned suppose like this. What is there in this language? This question was given some time back. 0 plus 1 whole star. Just do this. See, 0 plus 1 whole star. After that 0 or 1 followed by 0 plus 1 whole star. Suppose they are given like this here. So, if you have this, you cannot simply draw the finite automata to this. If you draw the finite automata, you will get like this. How? Self loop of the 0 and 1, and there is a 0 comma 1 here followed by final state followed by 0 comma 1. This is state A, is state B. Again this is the NFA, convert into the DFA. If you analyze this expression, you can also say that this is 0 plus 1 into 0 plus 1 whole star. That is all. All strings containing at least 1 0 or 1 1, or else how do you say all strings of length 1 or more it is. This is what? All strings contains the all strings of the strings of length 1 or more. So, that means this is going to be like a, it is a 0 comma 1 here, and then it is 0 comma 1 here, that is all. Although you got this diagram directly from this expression, as for the procedure, I am just telling about this. As for the procedure, if I use this expression, then definitely I will have a this automata, but this automata is not the NFA, sorry, not a DFA. That is again I need to convert into DFA. After that I will get this diagram. So, that is why my suggestion to all of you, once there is an expression, you try to concentrate on that. Is there any further reduction on that expressions? Remember, while you are talking about the regular languages, one regular expression can have, or else it is just like this, one language can have here multiple regular expressions. One language can have here one language can have multiple regular expressions. So, that means language to regular expressions are one to many. They may be written here any number. So, language is one to many, one to many, one to many, all of them here. Okay. But objective is what, this whatever language strings are there, that same thing I should be generated here. My L of R should be equivalent of only my L value. So, this is very simple. One language can have here any number of regular expressions. So, that is why I am coming back to this point here. Whenever there is a problem on the regular expressions, so you have to be little bit careful. What that little bit careful means? If they are asking for the numerical type questions here, so that expression you need to be concentrated, After that, is there any possibility to do the reduction in the expression? You try to do that. After that, you just go to this procedure. What is that? NFA should be drawn, NFA need to be converted into the DFA, DFA should be converted into minimum state DFA. That is all you can do that here. You answered? So, this is what exactly you have to do this one.